Yo guys, in this GTA Online video I will show you the best settings that you guys can use on the next generation of GTA Online. If you guys enjoy this video at any point, make sure to leave a like because it really does help me out, and without wasting any more time, let's jump straight into it. If you guys are new to GTA Online, then to actually find these settings, first of all make sure that you are in a GTA Online session. It doesn't matter which session you guys are in. For this example I will be using an invite only session. You guys then want to go ahead and press the pause button on your controller and then navigate over to the settings tab. In the settings tab we have 6 different options and I will be going through each of these in this video. Now to kick things off with the controls tab, first of all make sure that you have your show controls for set to first or third person. Now I did notice that every single one of them options literally transfers over to the next. If you guys don't know what I mean by this, essentially just leave this option on default and you guys won't need to worry about it. The next option we have here is the targeting mode. Now this is for your lock-on type of aim. Now you guys can change this in story mode and also the Rockstar creator. We can either use assisted aim full, assisted aim partial or free aim. Personally I've been using assisted aim full. I just find it much easier for missions and heists, as then the game will let me lock on to various targets. For this vibration feature I prefer to turn this off as I don't really like controller vibration. However, if you guys don't mind the controller vibration, then this is where you guys can keep this on. Just underneath vibration we have invert look. Now if you guys prefer playing with the inverted look, and maybe you guys were wondering where you could find this is where you guys can change this option. Personally I don't play with an inverted look, so I just keep this off. But now guys, just underneath the invert look option we actually have probably the most beneficial or game changing type of option, and this will be the third person and also the first person control type. And for both of these options I like to use standard FPS 2. One of the main reasons this is arguably the best control type to use is due to the fact that it does switch your sprint button. Instead of using the A button or the X button, it will make the sprint button the RB button, which is the right bumper. Now believe me guys, this just feels so much more comfortable when playing GTA for long periods of time. I have personally been using standard FPS 2 for about 4 or 5 years now, and I can safely say that if you guys do try this out and you get used to it, you will see why this is an amazing feature. But moving on to the next setting guys, we have the third person aiming sensitivity. This is really down to you guys, along with the next one as well, which is the first person look around sensitivity. This is all down to personal preference. You guys can just tune this to how you want it. The same also goes for the first person aiming sensitivity and also the third person look around sensitivity. But what I have really been getting used to recently is just keeping these on around about half of the bar, and this seems perfect for me. If you guys do decide to use a different sensitivity setting, then change it in here and then back out of the pause menu and then just look around and see if you like that type of sensitivity. And after doing that you guys can change it if you want to and find what's really best for you. Just after these look around sensitivities guys, we actually have some dead zone settings. Now with these dead zone settings it really comes down to your controller, and the main thing it depends on is how new or old this controller is. The main reason for these dead zone settings is actually for stick drift. If you guys do have a lot of stick drift on your right stick, then I would recommend just experimenting turning the dead zone up. However, if you guys don't have much stick drift or none at all, then just keep this really low. Just keep in mind guys, the lower you have these dead zone settings, the snappier the game will feel. For the two final slider settings, we actually have some look acceleration. If you guys are looking around in third person or first person, this will speed up how fast you guys turn and look around. Now what's worked best for me altogether is just having this on around about half a bar or maybe just over. It doesn't accelerate the look around too fast and it's not too slow either. But you guys can definitely change this and experiment with a different setting. For the allow movement when zoomed setting, you guys need to make sure that you have this setting on. If you guys don't enable this setting and then you guys have a sniper and you aim in with this sniper, you will not be able to move. This will pretty much stop you guys from strafing if you have this setting turned off, and there is no positives to having it turned off in the first place, so just go ahead and turn it on. For the next setting we have switch handbrake with duck hydraulics. I like this on. To sum this up on the controller, when driving a vehicle, instead of pressing A to duck, my A button actually makes me use my handbrake. I just find this so much better when driving around, and obviously if you guys prefer to use your right bumper as your handbrake, then just keep this setting turned off. And last but not least, for the controls tab settings, we have the drive-by control type. Now I am pretty sure that this is the default setting. I just like to keep this on aim plus fire. Once again guys, just like the majority of these settings, you guys can experiment and find what's best for you. But now that we have gone through all of the controls settings, we will now be moving down to the audio tab. In this audio tab guys, guys, this is where we can change the music volume, the sound effects volume, and everything like this. Personally for me, I just prefer to keep the sound effects volume all the way up, and obviously because I record this game, I have the music volume all the way down, which essentially means that anything playing from the radio will not show up when I'm recording. So the whole of this audio tab really is just down to personal preference. If you guys aren't hearing sound effects that much, then this is where we can change that volume. But moving on to the camera tab now guys, the first setting we have here is allow independent camera modes. I personally play with this off. For the vehicle camera height, I like to keep this on high because then I can actually see where I'm going. For the first person auto level camera, I like to keep this on. For the first person on foot field of view, make sure that you guys turn this all the way up. This will allow you guys to see more things around you when in first person. For first person ragdoll, you guys can either have this on or off. For me though, it doesn't really make much of a difference, so I just keep this on. For the first person combat role, I keep this off because if you guys have ever been in first person and tried to do a combat role, it does look awful. But then again, if you guys don't mind this and you really like it, then this is where you guys can change this option. For first person head bobbing, I keep this off. For the first person third person cover, I keep this off as well. For first person vehicle auto center, I keep this on. For first person vehicle HUD, I keep this off. And then finally we have first person drive by camera relative to vehicle, and I like to keep this on. Once again guys, with all of these settings in the camera tab, I do encourage you guys to change them one by one and see what they fully do. You guys never know, you might actually like something in here. For example, if you guys are going for a more realistic type of gameplay, then I would keep on the first person combat role and also the head bobbing. But now guys, we will be moving on to the display tab, and starting things off with this display tab, we actually have the graphics mode. Now I am currently playing on an Xbox Series S, so I don't get the chance to see these performance RT modes and also fidelity RT modes. However, I have seen everywhere that the performance RT is the best mode to use, so if you guys do have the performance RT option, then definitely try that out. But if you guys are playing on the Series S like me, then I would just recommend that you guys use the performance mode. You guys will notice a massive difference when using the performance mode over the fidelity mode. The game just feels so much snappier and better altogether. But moving on from the graphics mode guys, we have radar. If you are playing GTA Online or even the story mode, you definitely want this on. For the HUD or HUD, you also want this on as well. For the weapon target, this is really down to you guys. I prefer complex. However, you guys can also use simple. If you guys do decide to use the simple weapon target, then you guys can also adjust the simple reticle size just underneath this option. For GPS route, keep this on. For expanded radar, turn this off. For player overhead display, you guys can either turn this off or on. Having this option turned on will just show players' names above their heads. For the brightness, this is really down to you guys and how you see the game. If the game looks too bright, then just turn this down, and vice versa. For the safe zone size, this is down to your TV screen. You guys can just mess with this. Start moving it up and down on the scale and just see how big the game goes on your screen. For me though, I keep this pretty much all the way to full. Now for the new setting, which is motion blur strength, I keep this all the way off. I don't really like motion blur. However, if you guys like motion blur, then this is where you guys can change this option. For the in-game depth of field effects, I keep this off. However, I don't really mind it on either. For the screen kill effects, I keep this on, and for subtitles, I also keep this on as well. And then finally, for the measurement system, I keep this on Imperial, but this is really down to you guys. Now, that is really everything for the display settings. Obviously, you guys can just change these around and then try different settings out. However, this has been the best for me. But now moving down to the notifications tab, we actually have a bunch of different options in here. Now, for me, I like all of these notifications options turned on, and then I like to set the message frequency to 1 hour, which is actually the limit. You guys can also change this to having no delay. However, you guys will probably get a lot of messages really fast, which can definitely be annoying. And finally guys, for the last settings tab, we actually have the Rockstar editor. If you guys don't use the Rockstar editor often, then this won't really apply to you guys, but if you guys do use it, this is just the settings I use. Obviously there's not too much to go through. I like to keep this first option off, the next option public, and then the final option on. And that will be everything for the new next gen settings. So obviously there is a couple of new things compared to the last settings video I did, and with it being the next gen version of GTA Online, I thought that I may as well give you guys an updated video, and this will give you guys the best experience experienced in GTA Online. But yeah guys, that is going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys did, make sure to leave a like, because it really does help me out and I really do appreciate it. And if you guys are new to the channel and like what you see, be sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications to never miss a video. Finally guys, stay safe and thanks for watching.